What's up, YouTube? I'm Caesar, and this is Addicted to Guitar. Now let's rock! What is up, my fellow guitar addicts? I am Caesar, and this is Addicted to Guitar, where we celebrate everything guitar. So right now, stop what you're doing. You know what I'm going to tell you, right? Look down there. Go ahead, look down there. Are you subscribed? All right, go ahead and push that subscribe button, and right after that, push the bell, click all, because you're going to want YouTube to let you know when we're doing new videos. We're doing new videos all the time, and today we've got a great one for you. Today I wanted to give you a couple more words on this slick SL57 that I got. I did an unboxing video about a month ago, and I've been jamming on it, and I wanted to give you guys my opinion on it, and also I wanted to give you a quick lesson, a nice easy guitar lesson for you guys out there, so you guys can start jamming and impressing your friends. All right, so let's get to it. The guitar. The guitar is pretty cool. You know, this is a $300 guitar, basically, when you pay for shipping and tax. And in that price range, you've got a lot of options, but I think this is one of the better ones. For the $300, this company spends the money in the right places. And I gotta tell you that. These tuners, which are the tuners that Guitar Fetish sells for about $50, are pretty good. I like them a lot. I like the brass knobs. I think they're kind of classy. But more importantly, they are very stable, and they give you a lot of tuning ability. You can get really precise with them, and they're nice and firm, so when you get to that spot, they hold really well. I like them. They kind of feel like almost like a German car, where everything is stiff because you know it's made well and made tight. The tremolo on it is great, and now that I've got the back plate off, I wanted to show you guys this, but look at the size of that brass big block. Isn't that awesome? I mean, if you open up a Squire of this same price, the size of the tremolo block is going to be puny. And that adds a lot to your tone. Not only is it huge, but it's brass. And that block by itself would cost you about $50. I actually bought one for a Floyd Rose, and it was like $45. So that's money well spent, I would say. I did a whole video on relicking, and as you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of relic, but you know, it gives this guitar kind of some mojo. And the paint job, it's that car paint, and it's nice and smooth. So it doesn't offend me at all. So yeah, the guitar is nice. More importantly too, the slick necks, I really like them. I think it's the same neck on all the slick guitars, because I've got a 51, which is the Telly. And it seems like it's the exact same neck. I also got it maple. But they do a real good job. The fretwork is nice. I think the shape is nice. It isn't too fat. It's still kind of that Fender modern C shape, but it's a little smaller. And it feels good. The back isn't coated at all. This maple doesn't seem like it has any kind of thick finish. They may have rubbed a little oil on it. So on my older one, which is the 51, as I've been playing it and my oils have been getting into the wood, it's getting a nice look to it. The maple is actually kind of aging, and the oil is bringing out the grains in the wood. So it actually looks pretty cool, but the smoothness of the back I really dig. Somebody who used to play painted neck throughs with Floyds, I am really enjoying the bolt-on unpainted neck of a Strat style guitar. I think I like the super Strat idea of the bolt-on. I do love neck through guitars, but there is something about the bolt-on. I thought bolt-ons were just a cheaper way of making guitars, but no, they are their own thing, and they do have their own feel to them, so I got to give it to them. All right, so that's what I think about this guitar. Now, the one problem, we'll call it a problem, we'll call it a flaw, I don't know if it's a flaw, we'll call it a problem, is the quality of the nut. Now, like I was saying before, on the 51, which is the Telecaster, it doesn't really matter. It's cut real well, and on a Tele, you just need it to work well. You don't need it to slide too well. On this guitar, with the tremolo, you do. And this one is not the greatest quality. And although it was cut well with a good action and a good relief here, it's not cut smooth, and I'm having problems with using the tremolo and then getting the guitar to go back in tune. Now, this is the Fender tremolo, the Fender style vintage tremolo, and they're not known for being great at that. But if you've got a good nut and you've got it set up well, you can really work with it, and you can get it to the point where, as long as you're doing the right things, like after you bend, you kind of give it a dip and you set it up properly, it's very workable. I'm having a little trouble getting this guitar to that place. So it is a graphite nut. It's not the most expensive nut. It's not a bone nut or a tusk nut, but it is a Gibson style nut where it doesn't sit in the channel. It kind of sits on the top because of the great angled neck, which I think is something that Slick does great. And I think it's a value to have the angled back neck versus the straight neck. It should be easy to change versus changing a Fender style nut where it's in that channel and you have to kind of get it out and then get the right one to fit perfectly. So I think it's going to be easy. I may look into getting a bone nut or a tusk nut, and I think that's going to fix all the problems with it. So I got to say, for the value, this guitar is great. The neck is great. The necks are great, and the fretwork is great. Can I keep using great? I should use another word. Let's say phenomenal. Is phenomenal a great word for it? Yeah. Is that saying too much about it? No. I got to say, for $300, it's a phenomenal quality neck. All right. So that's my review of the guitar. Now let's talk about that great AC/DC tune I was going to teach you. It's TNT. Now the great thing about this tune, there I go using the word great again. The awesome thing about this tune is that it's easy. So if you guys want a great tune to go to Guitar Center and plug in a guitar and jam out and kind of impress your friends and your neighbors and then maybe that cute girl at the end of the hallway there, this is a great song for that. So let's talk about it. You only need to know 2 power chords, and they're pretty simple. They're the open ones, and 1 extra note. So how easy is that, right? Okay, so I'm going to assume you guys know the open power chords. They're pretty easy. The first one is the E power chord. So it's just on this 2nd fret with this open E string. Now, when you're playing the low strings, there's a little bit of finesse you got to use, because if you hit them too hard, they kind of rattle and they pull themselves out of tune. And when you listen to AC/DC, although it sounds like he's hitting it hard, they're actually really great at hitting it precisely to get a good tone. So the idea is not to jam it too hard. The idea is to kind of let the distortion do the hard work for you. See how you can hear if I hit it too hard or I hit too many strings, it gets a little muddy. What also helps too is if you give your pick a little bit of an angle. If you go at the strings too flat up here, the string kind of gets picked a little too hard and it rattles. But if you cut through it, you get a real good sound. So that's the first one. Now there's a middle note between this chord and the 2nd chord, and that's this G right here. So 3rd fret E string. So you hear it, right? And then the 2nd chord is the A. All right, so that's a pretty easy chord, right? It's the A open power chord, So 2nd fret, and then the open A string. Let's put all 3 of them together. E, G, and A. Okay? And then you just go back to the E. And when you do that, you do a little finger shuffle here. You go. So that shuffle is G, the G note, the A chord, and then the G note. Then back to E. All right, so the whole thing slow. G, A, G, A, G, E. Can you groove it? So that's the end of the verse, right? He ends on the A. Then you get to T and T, right? And that's basically the same thing, except when you play the G note, he plays what is basically a G open power chord. Now that's going to be a little harder, but not too hard, don't get afraid. What we do is we hold down the G, and then with the chunky part of the finger, you're going to mute this open A string, and then you're going to let the D and the G ring out. So it's... And AC/DC really likes that open G chord. That's usually the AC/DC power chord versus this one. Can you hear the difference? It's like the open strings kind of jump out at you a little more. They really like the open power chords versus... So we've got T, that G open power chord, right? You can hear how that guy's muted there. And then E. So T and E, I'm dynamite. T and E, and I'll win that fight. T and E, I'm a power load. T and E, watch me explode. And then explode is just that open A. And then we've got a little bend here. And it's basically just from, what is that, D to E. So D to E. Too much. So. All right, and that's it. And now you guys are jamming to TNT. So we'll go over it real quick again. So, open E chord, that's the first chord, and then we've got Can you hear how the guitar is a little out of tune? There we go. I'm not the greatest singer and player, so. All right, so that's the verse. Cause I'm TNT, I'm dynamite. TNT, and I'll win that fight. Ow! TNT, I'm a power load. All right, guys, and that's it. TNT. All right, so I forgot to tell you, the album is recorded in E flat. So the guitar is tuned down a half step, so I am in E flat. So if you try to play with the record or you try to play with this video in standard tuning, you're gonna sound wrong because you're about a half step off. So that being said, like I said, this is E flat. That being said, like I said, E flat. And that's it. So stop what you're doing right now. Stop. Look down there, down there, down there. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, or this little bubble right here. Hit this guy, you'll subscribe with that. And then right here we got some videos for you to watch, so check us out. And hope you're digging it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.